Hello, and welcome to this part of the pond. I'm your host, the Bullfrog, and I just listened to The Letters of J.R.R. Tolkien. The book revolving around his letters from the 1930s all the way to the 1970s. And it's built around context to why this letter is sent, the letter, and then context to what's in this letter. So that's what it is. Context, letter, context. Context, letter, context.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
We get to get into Tolkien's head. It's really cool. And it talks about a scene that he axed from the story, which I kind of found was a little bummer. I mean, think about it. Frodo, Sam on Mount Doom, lava surrounding them, and they think the journey is done when they look to the skies and they see a Nazgul riding its dragon thing, and it's heading right towards them. Tolkien was having a struggle with that scene, and honestly, I wish that was in the story. It goes into stuff like that, things we didn't get to see, and also it goes into the friendship that he had with Lewis, and various other things. It's really interesting. I do recommend to listen to this, because there's so much of interesting things that goes on, and we get to see the behind-the-scenes stuff. Already talked about it, but it was just too fun. And that does lead into the cons of this. Because the con is you have to know Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. If you don't, this is going to fly right over your head. I mean, you'll be going, I just spent 15 minutes listening to the lore of gift giving on birthdays. Why do I need that? Well, Riddles in the Dark in The Hobbit, and Bilbo's 111th birthday in Lord of the Rings. You need those two to understand why that lore is important. But someone who doesn't know those things wouldn't care as much. You gotta have that backing of Lord of the Rings. Because if you are a fan, you'll enjoy this like no tomorrow. And also, this book will inspire you to listen to the Silmarillion. And also, Sir Gawain. Sir Gawain isn't Lord of the Rings. This is one of King Arthur's knights. And this was a poem Tolkien has been working on for basically the entire story. Whoa. And the Silmarillion is from the 30s to the 70s. His life revolved around these two projects, and Wolf, man. Tolkien, you really had a lot on your plate when you were writing. And it's very interesting to see how Tolkien struggled with the publishing and how he was trying to work on his books. It's really cool. So there was a lot of good behind the scenes stuff, or if you're a fan of Tolkien, that would be in this book. If I was to rate this 1 out of 7 as a Lord of the Rings book, I give this a 5 out of 7. It's good. But if I was an average person who doesn't know anything about Lord of the Rings, I would give this a 3 out of 7. It's probably good background sound while you're working, so it's something to listen to.
Sounds fair.
And maybe I should try Sir Gawain, because Tolkien really spent a long time on that project, and I know it's on Audible. I'm not saying this is a future project, but it sounds interesting to go into and see how Tolkien did, because it took a lot out of him. But until that time, this is the Bullfrog signing out.
What the hell was that?